Popeyes fried chicken and wine? You guys must think I'm nuts for this, but you're in for a treat.
Better hear what I'm about to say because you won't get it.
Welcome back to Wine Bites. If you're new to the channel, I'm Josh, and I'm here to help you figure out which wines pair with your food. So truthfully, I love Popeyes. It's my go-to when I'm looking for a crispy indulgence. And I think nothing in fast food holds a candle to their spicy fried chicken. There are a lot of fried chicken options and opinions out there, so let me know yours in the comment section down below. But the one thing I can say with 100% certainty is that fried chicken and wine pairing will always be delicious. Fried chicken has such a particular flavor profile that this is probably a good opportunity for me to talk about why food and wine pairings work, and it comes down to congruent and contrasting flavors. Don't worry, I'll be quick. Contrasting flavors, and that can be either taste or texture, don't overlap in notes, but they go well together. Some examples of this can be acid or tannin that go against the fattiness of the dish, or sweetness whenever you have a dish that has some spice. Congruent flavors, on the other hand, lean into each other. So some examples of this would be a buttery Chardonnay with buttery popcorn, or a sweet wine with a dessert. Our pairings today will highlight a mix of contrasting and congruent flavors. First up, our expert pick, champagne. Cue up all of the jokes about if it's not from the Champagne region, then it's just sparkling whatever, but that's the truth. Today we have the 2008 Pierre Monqui Grand Cru from Champagne, France. Champagne reminds me of those golf commercials that come up during the Masters, a tradition unlike any other. Shout out to Jim Nantz. And for that tradition, champagne can get a little bit pricey. And so a pro tip, especially with a chill meal like this, is to look for a half bottle or a little known grower champagne. But don't worry about details, I'll give you some tips at the end of the video. For our crowdsourced option, we have a dry sherry. Today we have the Gran Vaquero Fino from the Sherry region of Spain. First thing you should know is that sherry is a fortified wine, meaning unlike normal bottles, you're gonna find this at least 17% alcohol. The next thing you should know is that sherry ranges in styles from dry to sweet, but a sweet sherry would actually overwhelm the chicken, and the nuttiness and saltiness from a dry sherry should complement it pretty well. The last thing that you should know is I do not like Vinho sherry, but because it is a crowdsourced option, I'm willing to give it a try for the pairing. Last up, our Wildcard wine, and I'm calling this one putting the fire out. Like I said, I love the spicy chicken, and so I'm looking for something with a hint of sweetness and effervescence to balance that out. And for that, we're coming with a Vinho Verde. Today we have the Santola crab wine Vinho Verde from Portugal. The one thing these wines all have in common is that they need to be served cold. Just pop them in the fridge about 20 minutes before you're about to eat. All right, the wines are prepped. Let's see if any of these are a perfect match. God, I love doing this. The champagne and fried chicken is just a wonderful pairing. There is acidity that's definitely fighting through some of the fattiness from the fried chicken. There are some yeasty, earthy, bready notes that are coming from the champagne that do something magical with the chicken flavors. And this is a perfect example of a contrasting pairing. Next up, we have our crowdsourced option. Okay, so I can definitely see why people would recommend that as a good pairing with fried chicken. There's definitely a little bit of saltiness that's coming from the sherry that's matching really well with the saltiness from the fried chicken. It's actually a really good example of a congruent pairing. For me, what it's lacking is some bite, some acidity. Food and wine pairing is really a textural thing, and it didn't give me something unique to highlight the chicken. Last up, our Wildcard wine. That really works. The sweetness that's coming through from the Vinho Verde definitely calms down some of the heat that's coming from the fried chicken. There is a little bit of bubbles, not as much as champagne, that provides that textural aspect that I was looking for. And so actually that's a pretty nice pairing. This is really close between the two. Let me think about it.
Better hear what I've got to say.
All right, so after a few more bites and a little bit of time to think, I'm gonna say that the champagne is the one that you want for your fried chicken meals, but it's by a hair. And I think if we would have had maybe a Nashville hot chicken or some kind of sauced Korean fried chicken, then the Vinho Verde would have won outright. But when we're thinking about this particular chicken plate that even with the heat, it's a little bit more subtle, the champagne does a better job of providing an equal weight to the food that we're eating and therefore creating the balance that we're looking for. So definitely recommend that you have a champagne. You already know, wine is subjective. The only thing that's constant about it is that it tastes good and it gets you drunk. So try these wines and let me know if you agree with my assessment in the comment section down below. And check out these key descriptors to pick up wines like these and experience it for yourself. If you enjoyed this content, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more food and wine pairings. Also, keep commenting with any other dishes that you'd like to see me pair in future videos. Until next time, happy pairing.